Alright, fait qu'on enchaîne avec Quoooo qui va faire une run de Kirby 64 de Crystal Shards sur la Wii dans Virtual Console. Une run catégorie 100% qui risque... j'ai jamais vu ce jeu-là à 100%, fait que j'avais vraiment hâte de l'avoir. Puis Kirby, ben, tu sais, Smash Kirby main for life. Mais écoute, Quoooo, are you doing your run in French? In English or en français? English?
Yeah.
All right. So we're going to be ready to count. Like, on your countdown, we're going to start.
Cool.
So ready whenever you are.
All right. 3, 2, 1, go. Wait, go.
And
Okay.
it's on. Well,
The
yeah,
timer
hold on.
is... We'll reset.
Yeah, hold on. We had to undo the fix from the previous run. So
Not that slow.
cool. Okay. For real this time.
Okay. 3, 2, 1, go.
Go.
All right. Ooh, cutscenes, I know. So this is Kirby 64, Crystal Shards. It was released on N64. I'm playing on Virtual Console just for ease of access. This is the 100% category, which means that we'll be getting all the shards in the game. There's 72 of them and then 6 boss shards. You'll see me using fire a lot, or burning, whatever you want to call it. It's much faster than normal walking, but the 100% category gets a lot of different power-ups just because we need them for certain shards, but we'll see those later. Yeah, that's all I have to say about 100% for now. This game isn't the fastest, but there are actually quite a few speed strats that I'll try to point out. One of them, for example, is every time I'm done... whoops. Nice. Here. Every time I'm done, like, fireball, I am amazing right now. Okay. Every time I do a fireball, I puff out after, just because that cancels the ending animation for Kirby. You know, usually he's like spins in the air or something. Anyways, I had to combine with Bomb there to get a shard under the rock, and also Firework is really good for... I missed a hit. Okay. Firework is really... Oh my god. Firework is really good for this boss. What was supposed to happen is that I hit the boss with Firework, which would do 2 damage, but he jumped over it because I missed. So that was not the greatest of starts. It's actually the first time that's happened, so in my defense. Alright, there are 6 worlds in this game. We're at the first one, Pop Star. Nice. Yeah, sorry, train of thought. For the first one, Pop Star, which is the introduction level, this one actually has a boss at the end of every single stage. That's not going to be recurrent in the other stages, though. But we do recruit our friends, which are going to help us out throughout the levels. Oops. So one other thing you'll notice is that sometimes I slide off of ledges. Sliding is the fastest form of movement, except there's a lot of lag on the ending. So I'll slide into loading zones, for example, so I'll speed up just a bit, or off ledges unless I need to jump down. Oops. Okay. Not a silly boss fight. Alright, this is the Adeline fight. It's basically an auto-scroller for the first parts, because you just need to wait for the enemies to appear. We're not extremely difficult. Oh, one important mechanic is Kirby can headbutt enemies. For most enemies, it stuns them. For these only it kills them. And headbutting is going to be used a lot just to avoid taking damage at certain places. And also speed some things up. like I has 2 attacks he can do. I got the not as good one. The other one, he just stays there and throws a nice block, and you can hit him significantly faster. Oh. Okay, we're just gonna get some health here, just in case. Alright, there are some places, like here for example, it's faster to jump on the side of platforms. So that room in particular, it's slower to go through them, but just because of the cycles of the Gordos, it's easier to go through some of them. Eee, I missed. Alright, oops. So one thing you can do, if you press on the GameCube controller stance button, or LRR, Kirby takes whatever power-up he has and puts it above his head. Why am I not running? If you press LR or Y 3 frames before you enter a loading zone, Kirby automatically puts it in his mouth, which saves time in some places, so we use that on occasion. Now again, double fire here. Double fire is not necessary for the DDD battle coming up, but it makes the next fight with Wispy Woods a lot easier. Oops, but easier and faster. He missed the first hit on DDD. He starts jumping around. It's not that much slower since he already starts in the air, and he does need to float up quite a bit as opposed to starting on the ground. But we'll leave that out for now. Alright, so this is the first boss. Pretty much all the bosses, except the final bosses, have two phases. So the first one is this with the Wispy Juniors. Oops. Yeah, could have done better. Anyways, I don't like those Wispy Juniors, is what I was getting at. So Wispy Woods has 3 attacks. He has this apple attack, this spinning attack, and then this stump attack, I guess. You can 2-cycle him. It's not terribly difficult. I'll do my best. But basically, every time he spits, it just wastes time because you can't really do anything about that. So I only got 1 spit. That's not too bad. Take it. And that's the boss. So double fire is like marginally slower than single fire. It's like in a real-time setting, it's not that much of a difference. The bigger difference is that it lasts longer, so you need to really plan out your routes, accordingly. You can't just fire whenever you want, or else you're gonna run into enemies or walls or stuff. So like this whole route, other than hitting this wall, which should not happen, is basically pre-planned. Probably hit this guy now, yeah. Some people like double fire. I don't. But thankfully we're getting rid of it. Alright, another auto-scroller. Okay, so I need to fuse with an electric enemy coming up, and sort of like in 1-1 where I completely missed Waddle Dee, or Waddle Doo, I guess, with the eye. If I miss this electric enemy, it's pretty bad. This time is significantly worse because there are no rock enemies, and I need the rock electric power up, so if I miss, I restart the level, which I don't want. You guys don't want either, so we'll play it safe. So don't want to die here. One thing you'll notice is that I'm jumping up and down hills significantly more than when I'm on land. Your walking speed and your jumping speed are pretty much identical, except Kirby's slowed down when he's going up or down slopes, so you always want to jump up slopes. But you don't want to start floating, because that's slower. Okay, I'll play this part a bit safer. We'll grab this as well. Whoops. Alright, here if you're not in the running animation from the beginning, you die. No. Okay. So that's an example of a headbutt that saves me from taking damage. I didn't say this earlier, but I made a bet with someone, or not a bet. For every unintentional death I take, I will donate $10. So that'll motivate me to not play like complete trash. Hoping it works out. Oh no. The top of the spears of the Ghost Knights have a hitbox, so the fact that I didn't get hit by that one is pretty nice. Oops. Nice. They're among my least favorite enemies in this game, though. Oops. Oh no. You're supposed to take damage off that fire and he actually boosts you up to the top, but if you hold your right for too long, it doesn't work out. You'll notice sometimes when I jump, I turn left and then right before I grab onto the pole the first time. That's just so DDD gains more height, so I don't have to do as many jumps onto the on the poles. Saves a bit of time. We'll get health here because there is a damage boost coming up. Nope, it's in the next level. Never mind. All right. Most of the time we try to not go back into levels, but in some cases we need like specific power-ups for shards, so sometimes we go back. In this case I need rock, but the drill is as fast as your running speed, so we use that sometimes just to speed up. It's still better to run though if you can, because you don't have the ending lag of the drill. But also the drill gets rid of a lot of enemies pretty nicely. So if Kirby falls too long, he'll go into free fall animation. And if he's in free fall and he lands, he'll like bonk his head, and that's a bit slower. So sometimes you'll see me puff right before I hit the ground. That's to stop the free fall animation. You can also inhale, which is significantly faster, but if you have a power-up, you're going to use that instead, and I don't want to use fire if I don't need to, because it won't work out, basically. But yeah, you'll see me do that whenever I want to not bonk, which is most of the time. Alright, so this is the first water section. Using fire is still faster even in water. So we'll use it intermittently. One thing though, if you do use fire into a loading zone, Kirby's gonna fall all the way down and then walk, and since you're in water, he falls, you know, at like half speed or something. So we don't want to use fire into the loading zones, just while we're moving around. Oops. Here we can just hide in with the fishbone, which is a tiny bit faster than going around to the right of the log. Alright. Miss that every time. You can actually throw a bomb right in front of you that explodes and hits the enemy right there, and it kills him without him hitting you. So Kirby can't fly forever. After a while, there'll be like little sweat bubbles or whatever coming from his mouth, and then he can't fly anymore. So I'll see him right here for a sec. But if you get hit, that whatever time it is gets reset, so you can just keep on flying up, and that skips a little auto scroller right there, which is nice. Oops. That was close. That was also not as close, but still close. Alright, so we need this Sun Cloud Star, Sun Cloud Star, Sun Cloud Star. Sun Cloud Star. Sweet. Alright, so technically we don't need the light bulb, but guessing which is the correct combination is not fun. So we hit the light bulb. So as mentioned earlier, the double power-ups do 2 damage. So we use that to knock the boss down to a bit. And then we get this for the next boss. Alright, so this is Pix. The first phase isn't too difficult. She did dodge, and then the second phase you can actually hit him. Luckily though, if you stand at the right place, you can't get hit. So if we have donations, now's a good time, because not much is going to happen. You can see Kirby's great idle animations here. Alright, so Pix has a couple of different patterns that he can do, and depending on which one my strat changes, so I got one that I like, thankfully. No, that's bad. Alright, well. It'll be a 2-cycle. So the colors that match whatever Pix's color you're attacking do more damage, so try to coordinate, but if not, then take what you can get. Oh my. Okay. That was a bit messy. Alright, so we're on to Aquastar. This one has one of the better musics in the game. Oops. Knew that was gonna happen. But anyways. Alright, we can skip a section here. You're supposed to go into the green things that spit you out in a different direction. But we can just fly up and grab this shard and skip the rest. And not get hit there because we're good at aliens. Alright, so if the frogs eat you, you'll lose your power up. But I want the food anyways, so. Alright, so Bomb Ice is the exploding snowman, which is considerably a bottom tier power up as far as attacks go, but we do need it for a shard later, so I don't really have a choice in the matter. Adeline always gives you a maximum tomato unless you're full health. Well, on occasion stop, but for the most part it's like 5 seconds to wait, so we don't really want to sit there waiting too long. Oh, also having something either in your mouth or above your head stops the free falling animation, which also saves a bit of time. We'll see that more in the next level. Yes. One other mechanic in this game is that if you're running in water, if it's going in the same direction that you're going to speed up. If it's going in the opposite direction, you're going to slow down. So when the water is going with you, you're going to want to walk in the water, but if not, you're going to want to hop over it, which we'll see soon. And most of the time, if we don't need to flutter up or anything, it's better to just keep a power up in your mouth, because it's faster just to spit out after. So we're going to be spitting out here to combine with this fire enemy. Again, this is because we need a shard. This power up is not as bad as the snowman, but not great either. So normally you're supposed to spit out your power-up earlier, because if it's either above your head or in your mouth, it just disappears on the screen since you're not allowed to use power-ups as far as the game's concerned. but I'll just get rid of it later. If you miss that shard, you need to restart the level, which is not fun. It has yet to happen to me in a run, but I didn't want to curse it earlier. There's a couple of places like that. You see me jumping around a lot. That's not for fun. The raft, I guess, is what you'd call it. Actually speeds up a bit if you jump. You'll see that with the minecart and sled sections later as well. Alright, so normally we inhale that enemy, so we don't need to jump over him. But we'll just do this. So again, power up in my mouth. I don't go into free fall animation, so here you literally just hold right until the end, except for one part where we get the shard. And get rid of that guy. Okay, so this is my least favorite room in the game. It's long, the water's going against you, and there are logs and bouncies. Can cause problems. Uh-oh. Alright, we're good. Okay, that could have gone worse. Ah, 3-3. Alright, so 3-3 gameplay-wise is easy, but there are a couple of parts, so we've seen like 2 now. If I do something wrong, I need to restart. There's like 3 parts here that if I do something wrong, I need to restart, so for those parts, I will need to focus, because I don't want to restart this level. It's pretty long. Alright, here if you're sitting too far to the left, you actually inhale the block that's under your feet, which doesn't help. Also, everything in water is slower, so you'll see me want to jump up here and then swallow my power up before, instead of doing it underwater. Alright, so Bomb Cutter is the Exploding Ninja Stars, which is a pretty cool ability. We use it exactly 1 time. I hope you guys enjoyed that. And it's gone. Oops. So that was the bonky animation that you usually want to avoid, but I did not. Alright, so we get this rock enemy. We're gonna combine it with Cutter again. There's no rock enemies on the screen, and we can't go back, so if I mess this up, we need to do everything again, which I don't want, and I don't think you guys want either. So we're just gonna play it safe. Good job. And there we go. We'll just go behind. Let's go. If you do something wrong and for some reason you fall into that hole, again, you can't backtrack, so you don't get the shard, which is not fun. Cool. So you need a specific one of Kirby's friends to climb up this wall, and it's completely random. I got an 8th try, which is not amazing, because there are only 6 friends. and you can't pick the same one twice in a row, so it's like a 20% chance every time to get Rick, and I didn't do that great. So these platforms are a bit strange. The ones pointing to the right take a lot longer to fall down than the ones pointing to the left. The ones pointing to the left are pretty instant, while these ones take a second. Also, your jump speed is affected by whatever's moving under you. So, like, if a platform's moving and you jump in a direction, then you're gonna, jump farther and faster. Same thing if something is moving down. So, if you jump late on one of the platforms that are falling, your jump is just gonna like not go anywhere, and then you get hit by the logs, and you have a terrible day. That's fine. So the flopper enemies, if you put them above your head, they actually swim faster for you, which is nice. If you misplace where you pull out the enemy, the rocks hit him and like he disappears, and then Kirby's swimming on his own, which is a bit slower, so we don't want that. Just to make sure we don't get hit here. The only thing is you can't swim up or down with the floppers, it's straight right or left. Whichever direction you're moving. So we need Bomb because, well, we don't need it. It's significantly better for the boss coming up after this level, rather. I grabbed the earlier one just because... Okay, so we're going to die here because I missed the shard, and that was unfortunate. And you can't go back down. But you can restart the room if you die. That's $10 out of pocket. Keep tabs on that. Alright, anyways, I grabbed the bomb enemy for the next boss, which is Acro, the boss of World 3, which does quick work of him. You're supposed to grab a later one, but I've missed it before, which is not fun. I've also missed the shard before, so we're just going to play it safer. There you go. So normally you grab that blowfish, but don't want to risk it. Okay. Nice, that was good. Almost missed that, but we're good. These rocks are random, so you just need to adapt to what they come. And there's one last shard that I need to get. Alright, that's 3-4. Nice. Almost have a 1-up. Cool. So that's phase 1. Again, 2 phases. Make them spin up bombs. Yeah, bombs do really quick work of Acro, so there's not really much to say about this fight. In the next phase, though, he has 2 different, or a couple different, I think. He has one attack that I don't want him to do, which is when he, like, swims up at me, and then it just wastes time. But if he just sits there spitting out rockets at me, then that's fine. Yeah, so he's gonna swim up. Alright, so that's a bit slower, but it's not the end of the world. Yet. Oh. And that's World 3. Alright, so World 4, at the beginning of it, you get to see a lot of like the movement-based stuff that you normally don't see because of fire. So you'll see a lot of like, you know, sliding and puffing out air, just oops, is faster. And then we jump here to manipulate this enemy, and then we are supposed to jump past him without taking damage, but as I think I've proved, I'm not very good at this game yet. Take this shard. When you get food, you swallow whatever's in your mouth immediately, which is nice. Saves a bit of time and effort. No. Alright, I missed a cycle. So I explained briefly earlier which can do this, but I can show it now. Alright, so you go a lot faster if you have momentum, basically, which is great because going fast is the goal. Something I didn't explain, which might be good before it happens, is that if you get hit twice fairly close in a row, you lose whatever power-up you have. So if I get hit here, then once again, I'm probably going to lose fire, and I don't want... Exactly. And then I'm going to die because I can't flutter with something in my mouth. Cool. So I actually happened to practice early as well, which is something I definitely want to avoid. But I'm really glad I got to show that off, so you guys understand what was going on. But now at least you guys get to appreciate why exactly we use fire all the time. Okay, luckily this room's a lot easier. Alright, so we're gonna backtrack a bit to get a specific power-up that we need. This one. Oops. Happened last time too, actually. Alright, so this is the dynamite. We need it for a shard closer to the end of the level, and if you die, you lose your power-up, so we need to make sure not to die here, basically. The dynamite takes a lot of time to explode, except if it comes in contact with an enemy, then it explodes immediately, so whenever we need to, we will be using that. And then here, same thing as earlier with the raft. Whenever you jump with the minecart, it's a bit faster than just sliding on the tracks normally. And there's a shard here that we need to not miss. Alright, we already have 2 shards. Oh. It's not supposed to happen. There we go. Oh my. Alright, at least I got the harder one. That one looks more impressive anyways. The eye cubes aren't the hardest enemy to avoid, but if your timing's off a bit, then you get hit and are sad. So here's the same thing I explained earlier with water. You don't want to be running in the water that's going the opposite direction of you, but you do in the water that's going the same direction as you. So you'll see me want to run off the edges, going to the right, but not to the left. Oops. Oh wow. I hit with that electric spark. The Zeus enemies are a bit harder to avoid sometimes, but that's okay. Alright, so we throw that explosive there, explodes immediately on the enemy there, and we get the shard, which is pretty fast. Then we can also use it to dispel a bunch of these guys at the same time. Since the explosion is like really huge. The downside is it can hit Kirby, which it did twice, but there's a maximum tornado here, so it's not that much to worry about. If Kirby gets squished, he dies in one hit, so I don't want to lose another 10 bucks. Not worth it. Cool. Alright, so we see the return of the drill here. Used intermittently. Oops. Just gonna grab this for now. Alright, that damage boost is intended, the first one wasn't. Okay, so most of this level is going to be done with a new power-up, the Curling Rock. That's not supposed to happen. Because in the next level, we need an ice power-up to break a certain block, sort of like in 4-2. So the Curling Rock is pretty fast. If you are running and then use it in the air, it's the fastest form for it. That I know of anyways. Oops. So again, we don't want to die here, so we lose our power-up. We definitely don't want to die in the next level. If we die here, it's not the end of the world, or if we lose our power-up. Because we can get one fairly early on, but we don't want to get like, to the end of the next level and then not have our power-up. So Adeline draws a picture here, and you need to do whatever she draws on this screen, and you'll get a shard for it. So we got the pizza, which isn't bad. There's the top hat, which is the fastest, and then pizza is the second fastest. It's slower by like a second or something. Ooh, that was close. Alright, the curling stone actually breaks all the bottom blocks, which is not what we want. So pizza's slower by like a second, and then Parasol's 5 or something seconds slower. Knew it. Oops. enough. Alright, last shard here. Easily forgotten. So the curling stone does have a tiny bit of lag after you want to dispel it. Or you can't do anything, but Kirby's vulnerable to attacks, so sometimes it's hard to not get hit during those. Well, that's fine. Alright, we're gonna grab the tomato because I really don't want to lose my power-up. So one thing is when you dispel the stone again, you are either in the stopped animation if you're not moving, or you're in the walking animation. And to get from walking to running, you need to like tap the stick. So if you time it wrong, you go directly into the stopping animation, like I did right there. Oops, let's use the stone there. Which is a bit slower, and we don't want that. Also, if your power hits lava, it disappears immediately. So you need to be like especially careful in this level that you don't get hit too much. Alright, do time. So these blocks either take 2 hits or 1 charged hit, so it's a bit faster to charge it, but on one of them we'll just do normal hits because there's an enemy in the way. On this one. Wait, no, not on that one. The skinny ones take 1 hit. You can hit the top one with the charged shot, but it's a bit tougher. Okay. 4 health isn't great, but this next part isn't terribly difficult, so. Oops. Wow, okay. We'll just do this. There you go. Jumping from a higher place is better for the curling rock because you're airborne longer, so you get more speed out of it. Alright, this is the room where we need the curling for that shard. Now we can say goodbye forever. Alright, here it's a bit faster to use double fire for a strat in the next room actually. Hello. I don't use double fire because I'm very good at dying here with double fire. Mostly getting stuck on the wall that we just passed and then getting squished by the lava wall, which kills you instantly when you have a bad day. So I use single fire. One day I'll switch over. Oops. That's what happens when you try to go too fast. Alright, if you're fluttering and you go through a platform and there's an enemy on top, you'll take damage, but if you just jump up onto the platform, you don't take damage, so sometimes you want to make sure you jump. Also, jumping is faster than going, or fluttering rather. We'll grab this for the boss. Alright, this is Magman. I can 2-cycle the first phase. It depends on which attacks he does. Missed. Okay, so it's gonna be a 3-cycle because you can only hit this one twice. Or there's one attack that I can hit, and I got it actually. So there you go. It's gonna be a 2-cycle if I don't miss this, and I did. Sweet. I was pretty lucky actually. Alright, so depending on what attack he does, it might be nice to me or not. It's 1, 2, 3 hits, throw the sword, and dead. And that's World 4. Oops. Alright, we're gonna grab the food here just because we don't want to die too much. Also, I do want to get rid of the bird that I just hit right there because he's faster than you and he poops on you, and if he poops on you, you take damage. This one doesn't though. He's too slow. Hey, I went up. Alright. So again, small jumps, speeds up the card a bit. There's one shard in this section. It's pretty hard to miss though, so it's fine. Just gonna make sure we don't miss it. Alright, there it is. Alright, so we need to break fire with, or we need to break that block of fire rather, and this boss starts with an attack, so we can't hit him anyways. Cool. Never happened before, but okay. We can get the shard. So we need to get a shard over here as well. Fortunately, we can't escape the water sections all the time. So in water, it's a bit weird to cancel the fire animation because you want to press A, but if you press A too much, you start floating up. And you don't want to be floating up too much if you're trying to go down. It's sort of counterproductive. No, I'm gonna die. And no, I don't have fire. So that's what, 3? Also the food disappears, which is very unfortunate. Penguins. not used to doing this section without fire. Alright, so these enemies, normally you don't go close to them because of fire, but I did that time. They'll always try to eat you, and they'll jump up at whatever height you are, so the longer you delay your jump, I'm just gonna go get fire again. The longer you delay your jump, the less likely they're to hit you. And you're gonna see them a lot in 5-2 coming up. Oops. Also great soundtrack on this level. Okay. We need to go down here anyways to get a shard, so it's not the end of the world, but I'm getting low on health, and this is a bit of a tougher stage to not lose health on. This shard. If you accidentally go up there, you need to restart the level, so it's always a scary feeling. As easy as this game is, it can be very unforgiving with certain parts. Rip. That shouldn't happen. Alright, all is good. So right here I'm going to delay my jump so that he doesn't come up and eat me. Alright, so sort of like in 2-2, yes. If I miss that enemy, it's bad. I don't need to restart, but I do need to go back a room to get the spike enemy, and that's still pretty slow. So. But we need that power up for this boss. Alright, that was actually really good. Alright, so one thing I haven't said, if you press X or Y, you pull an item above your head, but if you press it as you go into a loading zone, Kirby puts it in his mouth automatically. You don't carry it above you, which is faster in cases like this, because his throwing, or his spitting animation rather, is faster than his throwing animation. And then his spitting animation helps dispel those guys down there. So we'll just get this shard. And be on our way. Okay. Supposed to land on the platform there, but that's okay. Alright, here try to jump in the middle, because Kirby, if you enter like a certain zone... Alright, if you enter a certain zone, he'll start walking, and his walking animation is slow, so we just want to jump there. This guy. Oops. We're just gonna... I wasn't close enough, so he didn't jump down. I haven't gotten the impression yet, mini bosses in this game are pretty easy. Green, purple, red. Green, purple, red. Sweet. So that's sort of the same thing as in 2-4 with the switches. You just need to get the right ones. Ooh, that was close. Alright, so drill here's for the next level, but we still use it here, because again, it is pretty good at dispelling enemies. Oops, almost get stuck on a wall. Alright, this is the aimbot room. Because cheating in video games is a thing. If you time out your jumps, it's really not that hard to avoid these guys, so it's not that much of an issue. Whoops. Nice. He says as he gets hit twice. Okay. I'm high enough health that it wasn't really an issue, but we should be fine. Alright, here there's an animation of Kirby climbing down the ladder, but he can't climb ladders. He has something in his mouth. I need to stop taking damage. That'd be nice. Can't climb ladders when he has something on his mouth, so having something in your mouth there is faster. And there, what you're supposed to do is you're supposed to go through each of these and then shoot a drill, but you can shoot the drill down and it breaks all the blocks that are normally blocking you there. Oops. Alright, this is actually pretty bad because this level is pretty hard. We are getting late into the game. These hammers kill you in one hit, so I don't want to get hit by them. It would ruin my day. And DDD's headbutt just kills enemies straight up, so it's nice. Oh, that was okay. And there you go. Never lucky. Oh, also one thing is you can't headbutt enemies with something in your mouth, you just automatically take damage. So that's why you swallow that guy. And then this is the laser beam sword, which is nice. I like it. Oops. Nice. Okay. Okay. That was a bit messy, but it could have gone worse. Here's another one-hit kill room. If I get squished, I die. So we'll try to avoid that as much as possible, but I still want to go fast. To the move on, you know. Nope. Okay. Probably should have gotten that food, but too late now to worry about it. Actually, that was actually a really good room. I impress myself sometimes. God. And then stuff like that happens, and I remember that I need to practice stuff more. Hey. Alright, we're getting the fire sword again for the next boss, which helps us out a lot. If you die here, you can't get a fire enemy again, so the strat is you get the electric beam sword instead that we just saw. But, okay, we're just gonna wait it out. Yeah, there's no electric enemies. There's no fire enemies, rather. Wow. And the fire sword is better. Do I do this with 1 health? Yeah. I'm really bad at this boss. I will probably die. This boss also sucks. He has 4 attacks, 2 of which you can't hit him, and 2 of which he can hit you pretty easily, even though you can't hit him. You can actually hit him up to 4 times with that one. Normally aim for 3, which is nice. Okay. Alright, well. That was scary. Okay, good. So he needs to finish his attack before he does his thing. Alright, so 3 hits. Then he flies away. And then 3 more hits. Again, that does double damage, so that was actually pretty good. Didn't take damage, which impresses me. I do still need to go through the next level, though. There's maximum tomato pretty early on, but still. So 6-1's actually really interesting. It's a reskin of 1-1, the first level, just with the different enemies. And again, that guy has a hitbox on the tip of his lance, so we want to avoid that at all costs. Want to avoid that as well, but you know. Anyways, reskin of 1-1. The enemies are a bit different, and you know the aesthetics and stuff obviously are different. But yeah, it's pretty interesting. Of course, now I have 0 problems doing this room without getting hit. Says as he gets hit. Okay. Alright, good mini boss. So we don't have fire here, which we did last time, so we actually need to go under this one to avoid him. Oops. Okay. The game only considers the first 2 enemies that you inhale, so even though I got an ice enemy, it didn't matter, basically. Alright, so we do need electric coming up. Alright, so again, I exit the water before swallowing it just because it's a bit faster like that. Cool. It's actually harder than it looks. So the electric beam sword is going to be used a lot in the next level, but we do use it a bit here for a couple of different things. We actually also need it here for shard, but it's very useful in the next level, as you will shortly see. Alright, after this, there's no more water. I promise. World 6, for being the last world, is actually really short. There's only 4 levels, first of all, and second of all, they're all relatively short, so it's pretty nice. Oops. Great, swag for failing. Alright, 6-3 is like an enemy rush room. It features every single enemy in the game, so you get to revisit all the old memories that you've established throughout the run. Oops. And the beam sword makes really quick work of them, which is nice. The paintings in the back go through all 4 seasons. That's winter. I only noticed that recently. I promise not all the rooms are like this. This is just the first 2. Oops. Alright, so we need fire and spike for this. And then we get back our beam sword here. Okay. If you hit those rocks wrong, they actually stop you in your tracks, which doesn't hurt you, but is slower. Yeah. There you go. These cycles aren't the hardest to hit. If you miss them, things go to hell pretty fast. This last room, though, is significantly harder just because things aren't necessarily always moving up and down, and not always in the same direction either. Okay, that could have gone worse. Oops. One thing I didn't say, these black enemies are called NZs. They only appear in this game, and they sort of replace Waddle Dee because Waddle Dee's a villain in this game, so he's not an enemy. So they made a new enemy to be the generic walk around and do nothing enemy. Okay, this is Miracle Matter. He can only be hit by whatever power-up he has with him, so if you're lucky, he either starts with electric or cutter. He didn't for me, though. You can one cycle every single phase. It is pretty tough. Some of them are really easy, like cutter is really easy, ice is really easy. Okay, I'm probably gonna miss cutter actually because of that. Oh my. Alright, pardon the display of skill. So bomb and electric are the 2 hardest to one cycle. Well. Bomb is actually the only one that only takes 2 hits instead of 3. Yeah, so optimally you would one cycle everything. If not, it's like, well, it depends on which cycle, but sometimes up to a 10-second loss for each cycle you need to redo. Which is obviously not what you want. Okay. So electric is also the tougher one to get in one cycle. Yeah. Okay. Fire, depending on what he does. So in this case, I won't be able to one-cycle him. He has 2 attacks though, and the other one you can. Or he has 3 attacks rather. Alright, so one last hit of electric. And fire, and I think that's it. Yeah, that's it. Alright, so if Miracle Matter explodes like that, it means I got all the shards, which is good. If you get all the shards, you get to the real final boss, so the true ending, which we'll get to in just a sec. If not, the game normally ends here. And there's a cutscene at the end where you see the fairy princess like still possessed. It gives you nightmares. That's okay though. This is a children's game after all. Okay. Don't want to die here. Alright, I'm gonna get this maximum tomato because... just in case. O2, which is the last boss, isn't the most difficult thing in the world, but still don't want to die. If you pay close attention to his mouth, it becomes his eye, which is enough to give you nightmares as a child playing this game for the first time. Might have happened to me. So there are 3 phases to this fight. You hit his eye a bunch of times, and then you hit his crown a couple times, and then you hit the green cactus that appears. Oops, there you go. Are you, no, what? I missed the bandage. Oh man, it's not supposed to happen. This crown might rip you now, or a halo, whatever you want to call it. That's all I missed. Alright, so this should always be a 2-cycle. It's not the hardest to 2-cycle. Obviously, if you miss, it's going to take more time. But time ends when the last little red bar on the bottom disappears, so keep an eye out for that. It should be within the next 20 seconds. And I'm doing a specific movement here just so I don't get hit by him, so... and... that's time. That is time. Alright, that's time. That's Kirby 64, so thanks for watching, guys. We have time for the ending credits. The timer's still going, so you know. Guess we're watching them. But that's 100%. Hope you guys all enjoyed. I'm Quoooo. Yeah, thanks for watching. Mood ending cutscene.